Good morning and welcome to Kirk in the morning. This morning, my name is Aida Munzati. What I'll say, it's been long and I'm glad to be back right here with you and just take away the Kirk in the morning show every Monday. So today we will be looking at our men's health, November being our men's health month, just creating awareness about issues to do with health, and we'll just be focusing on the issue to do with the mental health of men with the help of Faith Nashipae, who is a counselor psychologist as well as a boys and men ambassador. That's a conversation that we'll be having later on. But first, let's start with the traffic update. Well, so let's get on the road. Being a Monday, definitely just looking at the maps right here. There's quite some traffic, especially around the CBD area. Just looking at Upper Hill area as well as Kenyatta Hospital. There's a little bit of a snail up around the Kenyatta Hospital roundabout, just from Bagathi Road. Looking at Lusaka Road, there's still some traffic. As I mentioned, there is quite a lot of it around the CBD area. So if definitely you're not headed to the CBD area for any businesses, you can always use alternative routes just to help guide you to whichever place you are going this early Monday morning for your different businesses. Just looking at we will look, definitely we've looked at the Kenyatta Road, looking at Kenyatta Avenue as well as Valley Road. That is clear. So that's an alternative road that you can definitely use. Lusaka Road is now a little bit clear. Looking at Mariakani Road, it's clear as well. That is due to the Nairobi Expressway. But I do not get into the CBD because there is quite some traffic around the CBD area, so you can always find alternatives to whichever place you are headed to. And that's all for the traffic update. So to the newspaper review, we are definitely looking at the Standard newspaper as well as the Daily Nation, and looking at the headline on the Standard newspaper is a truth on SGR billions. So they're just looking at the billions that were used to construct the SGR, and just an excerpt from the Standard newspaper is as the government pledges to extend the Standard Gauge Railway to Kisumu and eventually Malaba. The controversy around the initial works seems to be here to stay. A peek through the contract between Kenya and China to construct the railway shows the country could have sold its soul. You can get an in-depth of that story that is on page 4, 5, and 6 of definitely the Standard newspaper. Still on the top page, there is a story that has still been given a priority, that is on issues to do with climate change. Just looking at the COP27, that is the United Nations conference that leaders from 198 countries will just be discussing on issues to do with climate change. So that is a story you can get on page 8, 12, 13, and 14. Remember, Kenya is one of the countries that have been affected by climate change, and definitely our president, that is William Ruto, will be among the delegates that will be attending the COP27 conference in Egypt. Remember, the conference started yesterday and it will go through November 18th. That is this month. You can get that story as mentioned on page 8, 12, 13, and 14 of the Standard newspaper. Still on the same newspaper, we just look at, as I mentioned, there is an in-depth of the SGR story on page 4 of the Standard newspaper. They're definitely just looking at the SGR numbers. That is, it was signed in the year 2012 and 90% financed, 90% by China, as well as the Deputy President William Ruto said that it costs 30 million each day to subsidize SGR operations. That is a story on page 4 as well as page 5 and 6 of the Standard newspaper. Page 6, it's actually a question that the Standard newspaper is asking, why SGR loan deal may return to haunt Ruto. So you can get or just read for yourself that story. There is also on page 7 of the Standard newspaper about the KQ pilots go slow, or just the strike that was experienced. That is from Saturday, and it's a slow return of KQ flights as pilots strike now enters day 3. Quite a number of people right there are being affected, and not just those that are flying in and out of Kenya using the Kenya Airways, but as well as Kenya's economy is being affected really bad. So you can get that story on page 7 of the Standard newspaper. And now to the story that we mentioned about COP27. That is on page 8. UN Climate Summit begins with warning the planet is in distress. You can get an in-depth of that. And just remember to tune in to Kirk TV, where we'll be having an analysis of the COP27, which is happening in Egypt. We'll just be analyzing with the climate experts as well as leaders of the church. Remember, the church is one of the institutions that are just being brought aboard to help in finding solutions as far as climate change is concerned. So we'll be having analysis of the COP27 conference starting today, and on Thursday definitely we'll be having the moderator of the 23rd General Assembly just putting his own views or opinions as far as the climate change menace is concerned. So we get to the Daily Nation, and counties paid 35 billion to ghost workers. That's the story that Daily Nation has given a priority right there. So they're also looking at salaries of governors over the last 5 years. They have actually just looking at Vihiga, Mombasa, Migori, Nandi, Nairobi, as well as Nyamira County. So that's a story that the Daily Nation has given a priority right there, and you can get it on page 6 and 7 just to see how the government probably paid ghost workers 35 billion. That is according to the Daily Nation. On the second page is they're still on the issue of COP27, and that's a story that will definitely be hitting headlines from today through 18th of November. So Ruto to address climate talks as Africa suffers heartbreak. That is definitely on the issue of COP27, where, as I mentioned earlier, 198 countries will just be convening in Egypt, led by the different leaders, among them prime ministers as well as presidents, just to discuss on solutions to the issue of climate change. On page 3, it's still the issue to do with the KQ pilots, and on the Daily Nation they are talking of striking pilots will face the music. Remember, that is Murkomen actually just gave his views as far as the pilots strike is concerned, and according to him they are really affecting Kenya's economy. So what exactly will be happening? Just you can still share in your views on that. I'd like to know what's your view. Definitely the story that we've seen both on the Daily Nation as well as the Standard newspaper, that is to do with COP27 as well as the KQ strike, or the KQ pilot strike that is ongoing. So Murkomen makes SGR contract public. That's a story that we still saw on the Standard newspaper, and definitely it spills through to the Daily Nation. So that's all we had for you as far as the newspaper review is concerned. Remember, for both papers, the stories that have been given a priority is issues to do with COP27 as well as the pilot strike. Well, November being Men's Health Month, or just a month that is set aside to help in creating awareness about the health of men, that's the topic of discussion that we'll be having immediately after this break. As I said, we have Faith Nashipai in studio, who is a counselor, psychologist, as well as men and boys ambassador. So stay tuned. Feel free to send in your comments as well as questions. Remember, we are coming to you live on Facebook as well as YouTube. There is Kirk TV Kenya on all social media pages. You can find me as Ida_Munzatsi. So we take a very short break. We'll be right back with the discussion.
We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kirktv.org, SMS 011120044, or call us on 0794 588 054. We appreciate how valuable your assets are. Property insurance helps give your life back when disaster strikes. At Kirk Insurance Agency, we will guide you to a property cover that best fits your unique needs. Do not let unexpected property loss throw off your plans. Contact us now on 0700-161-262 or 0780-203-203. Email us kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. Kirk Insurance, a step into comfort and peace.
The great people on earth today are the people who pray. Not those who talk about prayer or those who explain about prayer, but those who take time and pray.
God answers prayers. Why? Because He hears. His ear is not deaf, so He hears our prayers.
Men and women who go before God, we should be men and women of godly standards.
Sure.
So we abide.
Yeah.
So that we keep tapping from the source.
But as we pray, it is important to tell God that your will be done in this prayer that I'm praying, or about this prayer item that I'm praying about. Not as I will, yes, this is my will, but let your will be done.
In these changing times and seasons of uncertainty, whom do you look up to?
God keeps His part. Calm rain, calm sunshine. God is still committed.
From one generation to another, and it's not like shifting shadows that He will change, but
Join Reverend Elizabeth Kimani and Henry Kyra every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. live on Kirk TV for Call Unto Me.
2021, He's still the same God, and He has not changed.
PCEA Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com. It's Christmas It's already here at Kirk TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, Kirk TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738 278 506 or 0739 971 607. Send an email bnkogie@kirktv.org or munyoroku@kirktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the Kirk TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, we will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Without health, life is not life. As human beings, we need complete mental, physical, and social well-being, not just the absence of disease. Regardless of what disease, condition, health system status, or information gap, we are here not just to convey or state, but to explain and break it down in the most basic way, for your health is key and it matters. Every Monday from 7:30 p.m., I will help you find out how to look after your health, live healthier for longer, and be in total control of your health.
We appreciate how valuable your assets are. Property insurance helps give your life back when disaster strikes. At Kirk Insurance Agency, we will guide you to a property cover that best fits your unique needs. Do not let unexpected property loss throw off your plans. Contact us now on 0700-161-262 or 0780-203-203. Email us kirkinsurance@pca.or.ke. Kirk Insurance, a step into comfort and peace. We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kirktv.org, SMS 0111 220044 or call us on 0794 588 054.
PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited, a cooperative society under the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, brings you Baraka Gardens. Located 2.5 kilometers from Ardhi Shopping Center, 15 minutes from Thika Superhighway at the 40/80 serviced plots. It is a fast developing area strategically located at a central place for easy access to the capital city and Thika town. Nearby social amenities include a police station and primary school, water and electricity. The plots sell at 560,000 Kenyan shillings for PCA Housing Society members, 600,000 shillings for non-members. The prices are inclusive of the title deed fee. For more information, call 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222. Hurry and grab your plot now. Pay a deposit of 200,000 Kenyan shillings and the balance in 3 months. Baraka Gardens by PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
Welcome back to Kirk in the morning. As I had promised earlier on, we are definitely going to look at men's mental wellness. That is the topic of discussion today. Remember, November is set aside to be a men's health awareness month, and the day is marked specifically on 19th of November. So this morning we are going to look at the mental health wellness of men as well as boys. And in studio, I'm being joined by Faith Nashipai, who is a counselor psychologist as well as a men's and boys ambassador. Faith, karibu sana. It's been long.
Thank you. It's been long, Aida, and I'm really glad to be here. Yes.
You're welcome to the show this morning.
Asante.
And we definitely look forward to learning from you and just helping to create awareness about the mental health issues that are affecting our men.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yes. So let us just start by looking at the problem. Where exactly is the problem, and how does the numbers look like in terms of those men that are affected by mental health issues? Yeah.
So we have major challenges around the men. Let me say men and boys, because yes, we as the men and boys ambassador, I look at both men and boys, more like the male gender. And one of the challenges that we are having is the use of drugs and substance, which is a real outcry across the country. Last year I went to Baringo and West Pokot, and I thought that drugs and substance was an issue that is in the cities, only for me to realize that it is right in the roots of this country. Then we also have the issues of suicide. As late as last month, we were having, I heard of a man who died by suicide because of being denied conjugal rights. So you realize that there are so many things that are happening in the society that are bringing a challenge. Again, men have really lost in the process of COVID, and even during people are not able to really recover. Because immediately after COVID, we went into an election process, and this is the time that now our economy is kind of struggling. There is a projected downturn of the economy next year worldwide. So you realize that people are going through a lot of challenges economically. And many times men are going through a lot of losses and a lot of challenges. Loans are here, they need to service. They're expecting 5 calls at a day, and they don't know how to solve them. They go home and their wives are not also kind. I have received calls from men who tell me, I just want to end this because my wife left with the children because I'm not able to provide. Then you also realize that some men are not well educated, so when you ask for their papers or you ask them what is your level of education, they've been doing business all along. So now that they are down, what do they do? who can believe in them and give them resources. Unfortunately, in Kenya, we are at a place where supporting one another is a challenge to the magnitude of thousands, is really a challenge. And so we have a situation in the country that is a big challenge. A lot of it is macro and also the micro, which is now emanating from the family. Again, we also have men who've been going through a lot of abuse in their families. That is a mental health issue. It mutates to mental health issues. When I look at the boy, I keep saying that we tell the girl how to take care of her reproductive health. The boy is never told that sometimes when you're doing some experiments, you might end up becoming a father, even at 11 years. And so when this happens, they are shocked. They don't know what to do. And it becomes a mental health issue right there because he's stressed, he's having anxiety. Society now starts discriminating him. You hear fathers say, I cannot live with another father in the house. And I have heard stories of men who are thrown out of their houses by fathers. So you realize that we are also having a whole population of men who are homeless and they don't know where to go to. So the challenges of men are many. And again, upbringing. The way people are brought up, the socialization and gender roles. Gender roles expect too much from the man, such that much as women are well cultured and they are being taught how to live and how to look for food and everything, the challenge is that the man, they are not taught how to share to some big extent. So you realize that we are not sharing our roles, our gender roles in the right way. And then when we share, when women come in and they start doing or bankrolling the house, the man takes a backseat. And when he takes a backseat, the reality is that he had been taught how to provide. And so now he's feeling not worthy, he's feeling not useful, he's feeling that he's been left out. And that is, again, another source of pressure and stress. So there's so many issues around our society right now that are bringing out the issues of mental health to very crazy levels. Depression is very high in the country. At least we know very well that more women are likely to suffer from mental health. But then we see men are also having, our levels of depression are higher on men than women. Then the rates of suicides in the country are also telling too much. More men and more boys are dying of suicide than women. And yes, internationally it happens that at least men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than women. Then you realize that 80% of the population that dies of suicide is men. So the issues of mental health of men are issues that we need to look at with a very clear and microscopic lens for us to be able to support them. But we cannot support them in isolation. We need to look at the broader issues and see what are these issues within the society that need to change so that we can support them.
Okay, you've really expounded well. You've talked about drugs, suicide, depression, as well as gender-based violence. And as you concluded, you just talked about the issues that are in the society. And when I was researching in the morning, I just got to learn that compared to women, men are unlikely to come forth to share their problems and even go to hospitals for them to seek medical attention. So what are some of these issues that we are talking about? What hinders men to coming forth?
Just generally, their health-seeking behavior, which also is their help-seeking behavior. Number one is that men don't want to seem vulnerable. When a man is taking himself to hospital, he thinks he's vulnerable. So the masculinity, the negative masculinity narrative that has been coded in him is wrong because he thinks that I'm a man, so I should be firm, I should be strong. And so he loses out on opportunities for him to go for support. You realize that many men die of pulmonary conditions and others stroke and all that. But the challenge is that someone had pressure, which is an issue that happens around age and too much pressure in life and all that. Or even sometimes it's genetic and all that. So instead of him just going for care, loving himself enough to go for care, just get a checkup, get his BP checked, just normal vital checkup. Men do not want to go and line up in a hospital waiting to be checked. I mean, who? Me? I am the guy. How do I just go and sit there and wait?
Is it an issue of upbringing as well?
It's an issue of it's an issue of upbringing. It's also an issue of mentality. It's also an issue of trying to show that I'm the guy, I'm the macho. You know, this macho man. And so they lose out on on something important called self-care in the process. And I keep telling men that if you don't take care of yourself, no one will. No one will. So they need to wake up and go to hospital. They also need to wake up and be able to seek help when they're still able to talk and still able to say something. One of the things about suicide, if maybe we would look at suicide, is that by the time the minute someone is thinking of, someone has already thought and planned and everything, and they now want, at the point of them maybe taking that drug or shooting themselves or whatever way, crude way that they use, there is that moment that someone wishes that someone would just reach out to them and help them out. So many suicidal cases are actually a way of, hey, I need help. You know, it's a way of calling out and saying, I need support. But many times we don't see it that way. We see it differently, we interpret it differently. And then this person eventually dies. So there is a way that I want to believe that men can say, don't just say I need help. Important is put it in words. And allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, I need help, because men have not taught to be vulnerable. You realize that we've taught our sons, men don't cry. So one, you don't show emotions in the presence of people. And one of the challenges we are having with men even today and the younger men is the issue of emotional and social intelligence. They just don't have that. Someone can tell you anything and nothing. Someone looks cold all the way. A smile is hard to get, or they're smiling but they're really sad, and they're smiling when things are really bad. So it's communicating in a different way. So at the end of the day, we are saying men need to wake up and allow themselves to be vulnerable. Allow themselves to say, hey, it is not working. Or no, my foot is injured. I need help. I'll give you an example. My son, I have 3 sons, and one of my sons one day played, they were playing with someone's bike, and then he got a tear on his foot. And he stayed in the house for about 3 days, and the wound was festering and it was getting pus. And by the time he was limping in front of me, I was asking him, so what happened? He said, Mom, this happened 3 days ago. What was wrong with you just coming home and saying, this is the situation? I said, I don't know, you know? And I told him, no, you need to say. You're not going to be beaten for not saying, but you're going to lose your foot if you do not say it. So it's about, what are you losing in the process? Is it your ego? Or is it your livelihood? Is it your good health? Is it your mind? Is it your life that you're losing just by not reaching out and saying, hey, I need support?
Yeah, and it's very great. Are you just sharing an example of your son, the mother of boys? And I think, as you put it, it's just right for us to start putting this into our children or our boys when they are young. So you've talked of, you've just mentioned of one sign, let me say, when it comes to suicide, but what other signs can we be looking at, probably the society can be looking at, or wives can be looking at to their husbands even before they come out and probably say that I'm going through this and this?
There's something that men call the man's cave. The man wants to just look inward and just close himself in a certain box and not talk. And you find a lot of men having this kind of turmoil, emotional turmoil that they do not understand. And they're trying to find themselves, and they're trying to get Who are they? And what does it mean? And why are they maybe having losses in their lives? Why are they where they are at that time? Which is a healthy process. But many times women don't understand. So when women do not understand, she's not even a good support system at that time, because when you're going through a very emotional, that emotional and that deep process of evaluation and finding and feeling your pains and all that, what you need is care. What you need is an environment that is allowing you to be and allowing you to get and find yourself. But many times we women, because we expect too much, we've been trained to expect a lot from men. We don't see them as people who are vulnerable, and we don't see them as people who need support. So even a hug that would come in at that time is not, even just serving someone a meal and trying to tell them it's gonna be well, even when you do not understand, it looks very, the woman doesn't understand how to approach this. The man also looks he looks like someone who's from Pluto around that time. And the woman is probably, there are so many needs around the house at that time. She's under pressure. There are so many other things that are coming up within the family. And she's just there. And she also has her emotional needs. What she doesn't understand is that at this time, both of them cannot support each other. And when these two people cannot support each other, it's always good for someone to look for help. It may not be internally. It could be someone who's within their circles, good friends who are within their circles and can be trusted. We women, we work very well with supporting one another. Men are not very good at supporting each other. So when you realize that this is taking longer than expected, when you realize that his man cave is taking longer than expected, and you notice that you can't get, because sometimes, and unfortunately, even I, who's a men ambassador, there are things that they want to discuss and they don't want me to go close to them. And I do allow that, because the men's world is a men's world. However, you realize that there are things that would even work faster if they would just bring in someone to support them. So at that time, if he's someone who can understand why it was important for you to engage, then fine, engage. But you can engage for yourself, be comfortable, be strong, because self-care is important to everyone. So the woman can seek for self-care, support herself, and then be able now to come out and support the other. If you're both in a place of unstable emotional environment from both of you, then at least you're also able to save this relationship, because around this time, no one is understanding each other. So we are all speaking our own Greek in our own languages. And so interpretation becomes very different. And you see, the Bible says that with knowledge and understanding, how homes are built. And with wisdom, the rooms are filled. So where is wisdom at this time if you do not know, if you do not understand? So when you see and you see that this person has caved in, best thing is don't pull him immediately. Understand, am I going to be swallowed in by trying to pull him? Will I dip him further? Or will I be able to find help for me so that I'm strong enough to support him? And sometimes they don't even need someone to talk to. They just need someone to support them in food, those small things and those things that they call respect. Someone to just respect them for who they are at that time. Then there is this man who caves in because there is so much that is happening, and you find that out of nowhere he comes home, he closes the door, and he wants to stay at home, and he doesn't want to leave the bed, and that is outright depression. There is another man who will wake up in the middle of the night and not sleep for better part of the night, and it happens for a whole week, and this is your husband. What do you do? So you realize that these are some of the things that now you can call out and say, hey, I think in all fairness, there is a challenge that you're facing. And whereas you're facing this challenge, I am seeing anxiety. I am seeing that you're having this kind of pressure. And I am seeing that you're also going into depression, because maybe this is what you need to get yourself with as far as depression is concerned. And probably you need to seek help. Or how do you, in fact, you don't tell him you need to. You tell him, how can you be how do you think we can work together on this one? Because life as a marriage, as a couple, is about two people. So how do you think we can work through this together? Unfortunately, some men will push their women away, even though they are well-meaning people. So again, men, I would like to tell you, please reach out to, when help is available, just speak up and say, this is where I am, and I don't know how to sort it out. And you you will be surprised that many of your solutions are within your own social systems, and especially that same wife that you keep ignoring all the time. Yeah.
Wow, and that's very great. Those are just probably signs that we can look in men. How about boys? These are young men that we are bringing up. What are some of the things probably that they'll start doing or that they will stop doing for us to know that things are not so well with my child?
You'll notice that a boy is moody. You'll notice that a boy is... he's not eating. Normally, teenagers and young boys are known for really, their appetites are way up there. But then you notice that he's not eating. He wants to be alone all the time. Someone who was all over talking and everything wants to cool off and just not talk to anyone. These are signs that something is really not happening. Many times the signs are not verbal. Or you find that they are having some level of aggression that is not normal. This also happens with men. Someone says something and it triggers something in him and he starts becoming violent even with words. Or you feel that this emotion is too heavy. And you see you're not a counselor or you're not a nurse, so you cannot be able to manage that. But at least you can decide, okay, let me keep quiet, allow it to go down, and then I can pick it up later. The challenge with us women, we want to meet it right there. And then trying to solve it at that time precipitates to bigger problems. So even with our sons, important is, especially for the boy, because he will listen. Sit down with him, find time, make it a safe environment. Ask him, can I come to your room? Can we have a talk? He'll say yes or no. But then even if he says no, you're the parent. So you can still go there and sit down and allow him to say what he thinks. And I keep telling parents, many times our children can teach us so many things if only we would listen. Let us approach our children with a mind that is open, not a mind that is focused on, I am a parent and you have to follow these and these are our rules. Because that has killed many children in the process. Let your children be able to verbalize what is in their minds and what is in their hearts. Teach them how to put words to emotions. Let them understand, okay, I am feeling moody. Why am I feeling moody? I'm feeling sad. Then when they say, I'm feeling sad, you're able to now follow and ask, why are you feeling sad? What brings sadness? You know, what has happened? You're able to assess what could have happened around him that brought him to this environment, because many times mental health is not so much biological, but it is more of environmental. What happens in our environment. And sometimes it could be drugs and substance use. That is, the child is looking at the situation, he likes his drugs and substances, he likes his new buddies who are introducing him to all these vices. But then there is a difference, or there is a deviance here, because the family has this kind of rules, and maybe the man is a stickler to rules, so he doesn't know how to marry these two, and there is this difference within him. And so if this is not negotiated very well, you will lose this boy. But if it is negotiated with, okay, these are your friends, fine, but do you think your friends are the right friends? You know, have that talk and help them manage the situation. Then that way we are able to save this boy from more challenges. The other thing is even the environment you set in the family. Sometimes, especially the family of today, there is too much fighting in the family that is causing, the boy is not able to face the father. And then the boy is also looking at the father and wondering, how do I even face you and beat you, because now you're beating my mom? So, and he becomes rude. Goes to school, you notice that the performance is dipping. So when children's performance is dipping, there is more to it than just, you know, there is more to it than just performance has dipped. There is more to it than just a child is using drugs. It could be there is too much pressure at home and he doesn't know how to solve it and he doesn't know who to talk to. So there's so many things that would happen, and I would say that let's not just look at one thing from one point. Important is let's dig deeper and find out why are these people doing things this way. Yeah.
Okay. And just before we go for a break, you've mentioned of drug and substance use. So at what point does this boy or man now get to using or just abusing drugs? Is it when it's at the peak, when now the signs are worse and they can't take it anymore, or does it come at any point?
Any point. Any point. It can be friends who tell you, maze, tupite hivi, you know? And kupita hivi means they give you bangi, you try, oh, you're feeling like this, man, we have, may I take this and this works for me. So it becomes, the boy gets hooked with time.
Yeah.
By the time the parent is noticing that this has happened, there is a use over time. There is also the man who reaches out to his buddies or colleagues and they're like, hey man, you're not doing very well, what's up? And maybe they wanted to even speak, but they're told, hapana, twende tuingia hapa. So in the process of kuingia hapa, which is a pub, they're given 2 or 3 for the road. And within no time, they find that this is something that is helping them forget about their troubles. What they don't forget, what they don't remember is that this is momentarily. It is something that poses the challenge in their head, but it doesn't resolve it. So much as the buddies are they're having good intentions, they are also creating another problem. So by the time you notice, this person has gone to certain levels. Yeah.
All right. So we are looking at the men's mental wellness, and in studio right there is Faith Nashipai, who is a counselor, psychologist, as well as men's and boys ambassador. So we just looked at where exactly is the rain beating us, or where is the problem in the society. And one of the ways that we've been able to see, or just looking at, is the issue to do with upbringing, or let me just put it as a masculinity. So we'll take a very short break, but when we come back, we'll now be providing solutions to these problems. Faith will also be just sharing of a program that is yet to start, or a program that will be starting sooner, just to help the boys as well as men in the society. Remember, we are also coming to you live, that is on Facebook as well as YouTube, Kirk TV Kenya. So we take a very short break. We'll be right back.
PCEA Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90647.
The great people on earth today are the people who pray. Not those who talk about prayer or those who explain about prayer, but those who take time and pray.
God answers prayers. Why? Because He hears. His ear is not deaf, so He hears our prayers.
Men and women who go before God, we should be men and women of godly standards.
Sure.
So we abide.
Yeah.
So that we keep tapping from the source.
But as we pray, it is important to tell God that your will be done in this prayer that I'm praying, or about this prayer item that I'm praying about. Not as I will, yes, this is my will, but let your will be done.
In these changing times and seasons of uncertainty, whom do you look up to?
God keeps His part. Calm rain, calm sunshine. God is still committed.
From one generation to another, and it's not like shifting shadows that He will change, but
Join Reverend Elizabeth Kimani and Henry Kyra every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. live on Kirk TV for Call Unto Me.
2021, He's still the same God, and He has not changed.
Welcome back. This is Kirk in the morning. We are looking at men's mental wellness, and definitely in studio I'm still with Faith Nashipae, who is a counselor psychologist as well as men's and boys ambassador. Remember, previously we've just looked at the problem. Where exactly is the problem, and what are some of the challenges that our men and boys are facing in the society? And as I promised, on this second part we'll just be looking at the solutions by the help of Faith Nashipae right here for us, not just to set the problem to you, but also provide solutions to these problems. But before we look at the problem, Faith, we were just having that discussion on men that come out being referred to as the Cerelac men. You've mentioned of the Jadens. So let us look at how can we support these men that now come out and tell us their problems, instead of us just giving them names and just condemning them for them coming out. Yeah,
I think society needs to look at men as human beings. Before you look at someone as man or qualify them as man or woman, let's look at them as humans, because when we look at the human rights, we talk of human rights, right?
Yeah.
And then now we start talking of rights of women, rights of children. So let's first look at this person as a human being who was created by God, with all these beautiful things about emotions, about their minds, about their bodies and everything, and it makes up a beautiful, beautiful human being. But then when they come out to speak, we start now, unfortunately, looking at them as men.
yeah,
So we don't look at them as a human being who is saying, I need support or I need help. Am I saying that being a Cerelac man, the Cerelac man viewers is that man who is a weakling? You know, men will say he's a weakling. He doesn't look like, you know, his sweat and muscle, and you know. But the thing is, people are different. And again, our environment is our problem. We are talking about, and I'll say something little about this, and I know it is very controversial and it is okay.
yeah,
Some statistics has revealed that half population of the women population in the country is single mothers.
yeah.
That could be the reason why we are also having CC boys, because it's Baba Kababa generation and all that. And it's all about my baby, my boy, my son. You know, my man kings do all those sweet names. And he never gets someone to shape masculinity in the right way in him. I am a big supporter of positive masculinity. But someone doesn't show him the identity of a man. I spoke to a man earlier this year and he told me for about 17 years, he had never seen his father. He was raised by a single mother. And what he did is that he had never heard the voice of a man. So when he went to high school, his marks were dipping. He was not doing very well. He was losing himself. He was having these challenges of identity. The identity crisis was a big issue to him and all that. But one day, someone walked into their school, and they were supposed to be motivated as they were sitting for the exams or something. And this motivator said something. This person who came to speak said one thing, and that is when he heard the voice of a man speak to him. And it clicked something in him, and he started looking at life in a different way. From there, he became. So could we be saying that we are having CC boys, but we are not looking at how they are being generated into the system? Could it be that we women are holding too much on our sons? We don't want to raise them to become great men. And so we want to put in what we think, but we are not allowing a male to just fly over this and support him. An eagle is only raised by an eagle. If you raise it among chicken, and I'm not saying women are chicken, we are also eagles in our own way. When you raise an eagle among chicken, it just behaves and becomes like one. So could it be that the result of this boy is because he's been raised among women? So he's laughing, he's saying hi, he's doing things is too feminine than masculine.
Yeah.
Is that what we are missing? And I've heard young girls say, kwani wale wanaume wananuka majasho na wanaongea na wako wapi? You know, wako wapi? So yeah, there is a problem. And maybe society needs to look at things differently and say that, yes, single mother population is very high in Kenya.
Yeah, it is.
We need to be kind to ourselves and say that either we stop that single mother generation population, and even as we stop it, we also start looking at how do we salvage this boy in the single mother situation. And even the children who are in two parents family, father and mother, we need to ask the father, what are you doing? How are you doing? How are you mentoring your son? How are you portraying masculinity to your sons in the house? Because that is what they'll wake up to. Yeah.
Okay. And we talked of gender-based violence probably as just one of the causes of men's mental wellness. And unfortunately, just as you put it, that it's quite difficult for men to come out. Unfortunately, the society will always condemn this man who comes out that I'm being probably beaten by my wife or probably I'm being abused at home. How exactly can we tackle the gender-based violence? This is on the men's side.
Our systems need to appreciate that a man is a human being. I will always say this, because you go to a police station and a man says that this has happened to me, and even before he's handed a P3 form, we ni mwanaume aina gani, ulichapwa ukiwa mikono ilikuwa wapi, kono ulikuwa umefungwa mikono, you know.
And you see now when this man now raises their hands to beat this woman, it will be more noisier than the men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And take two cases in the country, and unfortunately I'm bringing these even though some of these cases are in court, just in passing. We have a case of a man who was killed the other day. No one has spoken about that.
Yeah.
Very few people have spoken about it, and the noise is managed.
Yeah.
We also have a case of a mother who killed her two sons in Western, sometime either early this year or late last year. That issue did not get the kind of noise that an issue on Forest Road got, to a level where the civil society, we wrote letters talking about, and we really, and people really fought.
And even the judiciary spoke about it.
Yes, and even people dogmatized the border sector. They are my friends and we work together. So you look at, and there are people who are well-meaning in the border sector. I mean, there are men who literally find a woman who has been violated and they pick her and they support her all the way to the hospital. There are others who pick someone on the road and out of their goodwill, as responsible men, total positive masculinity, they take that woman and they take her to hospital. Maybe it's a child bearing, I mean, someone is giving birth and all that, and they support through the process. So I want to say that not all men are bad. Let's begin there. And number two, I also want to say that not all women are good. We also have negative feminism, you know, and we also have, the same way we have men who are being called narcissists, we also have women who are narcissists. And we also have people, the same way we have female genital mutilation, we also have male genital mutilation, you know, but we don't look at it as a violation of someone's rights. I mean, engineer mtu ikienda, what else? You know? But people don't look at it as something that needs to be supported. And that is where we go wrong. Our rights need to apply for all. The human rights, as we call them, are for humans. They are not for one gender. They are for all. So they need to apply for all. Then there are people, there are men who are being, who are going through psychological or emotional violence in their homes. So how do they report? And I keep asking, even with women cases, with female cases, the challenge is that our system does not give us a clear and direct way of reporting these emotional violences and psychological violences.
They just want to see the physical point of
and
it.
it is easy for people to say, I was hit. There's a lady I know. She had gone through a lot of emotional and psychological violence. When she went to the police, to one of the gender desks, she was asked, has this guy beaten you? No. Why don't you go back, and when you have evidence, you can come. Or you can call us, take our number. And I asked, are you waiting for someone to be hit or killed, or someone to be maimed, for you to say that, yes, there is violence here? you know. Another one was going through gender-based violence. And when he went, he was asked, he actually went to a pastor, and the pastor again asked, unachapangwa? Na kwa nini mnaleta shida?
Funika ya ndoa haitoki.
You see, but the reality is that there is too much violation in this system that someone is facing depression. You can see someone going through depression over time. So instead of helping this person recover, you're telling them to go back to the violator to
bring evidence.
Bring evidence. How do you bring evidence if you do not sit down with someone and really find out, dig in and find out, why are you this way? What is causing you to go this way? What did you hear? What are your triggers? What are these things that you've had? What are these things that affect you? Until we get to that level within our system, we'll still continue seeing this GPV, because the physical is as a result of a prolonged emotional and psychological. Yani mtu amemshusha mwenzake hadhi, yani you've disrespected and dishonored someone and lowered their dignity in your sight and in your reasoning, that even hitting is not a problem. By the time someone gets to hit, this person is already, you know, amevunjavunjwa ya kutosha emotionally. Their spirit is already crushed. So the crushing of with an object or with a hand is easy for this person. So when we talk about gender-based violence, again, we need to be very careful. And I always say, men, please come out and speak about your gender violence cases. I speak to men. I have county men's forums, and in my interactions with them, they say, sisi tunapigwa kabisa. They do. They say it, which is true. But now, society, culture, men are not supposed to be. You cannot go to a men's forum and say nimechapwa na mwanamke. Why? Why can't we just allow ourselves as a society to listen to everyone's voice and say that this is their truth, and accept that this is their truth and live within their truth, and operate and support them within their truth? What is so hard with us doing that? It is very difficult, Ida, today, for a man who has had his genitals mutilated, going to report. He would rather go to a private hospital, get the surgical rectification, and manage his situation silently. Achekwe. Ambiwe haezi kazi, you know, akue stigmatized and discriminated on by other men. Because again, even men are not helping each other. One of the reasons why women empowerment is working in the country is because women stood with each other. Women volunteer to support one another, but men don't. Number one, they don't volunteer for their own initiatives. Number two, they don't stand with one another. I mean, number three, they're the best gossipers around. Someone gives you his story, and then within no time, iko kwa kijiji. You know? So how then do we support one another if even our mouths are speaking against us? How do men, and I'm liking something like, I'm liking what the second lady is doing, and God bless Her Excellency Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, because she's come up with, she's giving what we are doing a voice. I mentioned that I am a men and boys ambassador. I have been working with men closely and directly since 2018. We partnered with the State Department of Gender in 2018, and we started marking International Men's Day, which I like that you alluded to at the beginning, on the 19th of November. And what we have done over time is that we've been advocating for the rights of men in policy. We want to see, because when we did dialogues, I realized we have a challenge, because you will find a senior officer telling you, Faith, we understand there's a need. But policy does not, we don't have any policy around this. So what did I do? I gave myself to go through the process. And going through the process was not just to do policy and talk about things, but to go to the ground, collect data. And thank God for PCMF. They gave me an opportunity. We did a very good research in 2019 on male engagement, men in gender. And we found out a lot of things. And out of that, we actually birthed one of our programs, which is the Men's Bandari, reaching out to men at community level on mental health issues, and more so suicide prevention at community level. Now, we have so many products. And I thank God that we have an opportunity. Financing has been a challenge in this country because government without policy and without this being part of a priority policy makes something priority. Now that we did not have a priority, we had a challenge, we had to fight. Some of us had to pull from our own pockets to get to where we are today. And I thank God that on 18th, just before the International Men's Day, we shall be launching what we are calling the 5th thematic area under government, under the State Department for Gender. This is a partnership, this is where we'll be having, under the national system, we shall now be having a subcommittee. Under the national system, we have the National Gender Technical Working Group, where Gender Sector Working Group. And this is where we all plug in as actors in gender. Government, the donor world, the partners, the implementers who are the CSOs, we all come, the private sector, we all come together and we talk about issues of gender, and we are able to track matters of gender in the country. But for all this time, we've not been having anything tracked on men and boys. So out of yours truly, the MBA, advocating for this for quite a long time, we thank God that finally we have come to a place where government has graciously accepted that we need to have a 5th thematic area, which is being called male engagement and inclusion. Now, this male engagement and inclusion is both for men and boys. That's why we're calling it male. Number 2, we want men to continue being partners in gender issues. Because unless we become partners with women, unless men become partners with us, we're still having a challenge in development. Number 2, the inclusion is that we appreciate that men have not been included on matters to do with gender. We appreciate that they have needs that have not been supported and tackled. So how do we bring them on board? And this inclusion will be looking at how do we empower the man and the boy? How do we support him on different issues? Someone asked me this morning, do we have a safe house for men? And I looked through my system, and yes, I have one. I have been given a contact for one. But I can tell you we have maybe 2 or 3 in the entire of Kenya. Yet men are being violated. Men need safe houses. Some of these strategies and this particular male engagement and inclusion will at least be able to now strongly advocate, because now we have an opportunity to push issues of men through policy in this country. And we can be able to even look at different things like the law, the issue of the penal code that talks about penetration. I'm not a lawyer, but I know very well when a man is violated, how does he say that he was violated, right? But when a woman is defiled or is violated, there is penetration, and that is in the penal code. But when a man is stupefied and he's gang raped by young girls in the university, what happens? How is that? How does that?
It becomes very hard to even explain yourself.
Exactly. So we are saying, let us have our systems that are giving us an equal opportunity so that no one feels that they are left out. The importance of pulling together and leaving no one behind is making sure that our systems are supporting everyone in the process. When you talk about the boy child, I like the affirmative action. I'm a woman. It has really worked well for all of us. But then it is leaving the man behind. It is leaving the boy behind in a big way. How then do we bring him on board? How do we empower him? How do we make him become that kind of guy that is full of positive masculinity, that when he stands, we are confident that he can marry your daughters? At the end of the day, it is a society. We have been created with different God-given roles, gender roles. We've also, like, I mean, I can't give birth if I don't have a sperm. You know? and a man cannot be called a father without a woman. So these are gender roles that are natural. We cannot violate that. 2, we can also not ignore the fact that our society has set these roles, also has set some roles, gender roles, for all of us. And how do we share these roles so that we play complementary roles in each other's lives, and not trying to show that I am, you are, and everything. And how do we make our society better? At the end of the day, we want to see a community that is better. I lead an organization called Thriving Communities Africa. And at Thriving Communities Africa, we are looking at sustainable social transformation. And our sustainable social transformation will only be achieved if we put men at the center of development. And we help them see that even in social development, they are very, very important, and they are needed, just like we women are required. Yeah.
All right, and you've summarized it very well, Faith, in terms of what you've mentioned of the second ladies, that is Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, of what exactly he's doing. And that is very great because right now, the men are now being brought forth and they're being empowered. You just mentioned of these men are the same people that, or these boys are the same people that will end up marrying these girls that are being empowered, and these boys not being empowered, and yet we expect them to get into marriage and the marriage to succeed. So I want to conquer with you that boys also need to be empowered. Yeah, as you bring up the girl, also pull this boy for them to be on the same lane as you put it. So I think that will be it. You just probably just give us a parting shot as far as men's mental wellness is concerned.
Lovely. Men, you need to learn how to seek help, and you need to learn how to trust each other, and you also need to learn how to take care of each other's business. When a man reaches out to you and says, I need help, listen, don't take him for that football. I know World Cup is just starting. Don't tell him, let's first watch the ball game and then we'll discuss this later. And then in the process, you give him 2 or 3. No. The important thing is, let it be a silent place where he feels safe and secure, and let him know that he's cared for and you cared enough to listen to him. That could be the life-saving opportunity for that gentleman you call your friend. And the other thing is, please look out for us. We are counselors. We are trained to support you in your mental health issues and to support you in your mental wellness journey. And therefore, you can trust us because we're not going to talk about your issues. We are very confidential. It's an ethical requirement that we remain confidential over your matters, and we are going to handle you with all the care that you deserve and you desire. And finally, we are having the National Men's Convention, and that is going to be on male engagement and inclusion, which is going to take place on the 28th and 29th of November. And during this time, we shall be interrogating data on, do we really have a challenge in this country regarding the man, and what next, what else do we do? And we want to hear the voices of men. So when we float out and you need to sign up, please sign up. Let's come and support let men come and support what is their own. And if you cannot get there, sponsor someone, pay for someone to get to the conference. Let's hear the voices of men, and together we are able to present the challenges of men and the voices of men to government. We truly appreciate you, and we look forward to a great, wonderful month. Yeah.
All right, you've mentioned of something very key right there that will be happening. Probably any contacts or social media handles where they can find you?
Oh yes. Our contact is 0703 677 757, 0703 677 757, and our media handles, we have Thriving TC Africa. TCA is in capital Africa, at TC Africa. That is our Facebook and our Twitter handle. You will see Thriving Communities Africa. And yes, you can also get in touch with me, your MBA, Nashipae, the MBA on Facebook, or you can also get in touch with me as Faith Nashipae on my profile. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Faith. Yeah. Thank you for amplifying the men's and boys' voice in the society. And we definitely look forward to the events that will be happening. That is on 18th, as well as the 28th of November, as you put it.
Asante.
All right, so that's where we leave the conversation at this morning. Remember, we were looking at men's mental wellness, just looking at where is the problem and what are the solutions to these issues. And Faith has put it very well. She's just been able to help in providing solutions so that we prevent and manage whatever is happening to our boys and men. What I'll leave you with, even as we end this particular part, is that men are also human beings, and men come out and speak about your problems. So we take a very short break. We'll be right back with the news updates.
The great people on earth today are the people who pray. Not those who talk about prayer or those who explain about prayer, but those who take time and pray.
God answers prayers. Why? Because He hears. His ear is not deaf, so He hears our prayers.
Men and women who go before God, we should be men and women of godly standards.
Sure.
So we abide.
Yeah.
So that we keep tapping from the source.
But as we pray, it is important to tell God that your will be done in this prayer that I'm praying, or about this prayer item that I'm praying about. Not as I will, yes, this is my will, but let your will be done.
In these changing times and seasons of uncertainty, who do you look up to?
God keeps His part. Calm rain, calm sunshine. God is still committed.
From one generation to another, and it's not like shifting shadows that He will change, but
Join Reverend Elizabeth Kimani and Henry Kyra every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. live on Kirk TV for Call Unto Me.
2021, He's still the same God, and He has not changed.
PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited, a cooperative society under the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, brings you Baraka Gardens. Located 2.5 kilometers from Ardhi Shopping Center, 15 minutes from Thika Superhighway at the 40 by 80 serviced plots. It is a fast developing area strategically located at a central place for easy access to the capital city and Thika town. Nearby social amenities include a police station and primary school, water and electricity. The plots sell at 560,000 Kenyan shillings for PCA Housing Society members, 600,000 shillings for non-members. The prices are inclusive of the title deed fee. For more information, call 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222. Hurry and grab your plot now. Pay a deposit of 200,000 Kenyan shillings and the balance in 3 months. Baraka Gardens by PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
It's Christmas already here at Kirk TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, Kirk TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii Krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738-278-506 or 0739-971-607. Send an email bnkogie@kirktv.org or munyoroku@kirktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the Kirk TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, we will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Without health, life is not life. As human beings, we need complete mental, physical, and social well-being, not just the absence of disease. Regardless of what disease, condition, health system status, or information gap, we are here not just to convey or state, but to explain and break it down in the most basic way, for your health is key and it matters. Every Monday from 7:30 p.m., I will help you find out how to look after your health, live healthier for longer, and be in total control of your health.
PCA Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com.
The great people on earth today are the people who pray. Not those who talk about prayer or those who explain about prayer, but those who take time and pray.
God answers prayers. Why? Because He hears. His ear is not deaf, so He hears our prayers.
Men and women who go before God, we should be men and women of godly standards.
Sure.
So we abide.
Yeah.
So that we keep tapping from the source.
But as we pray, it is important to tell God that your will be done in this prayer that I'm praying, or about this prayer item that I'm praying about. Not as I will, yes, this is my will, but let your will be done.
In these changing times and seasons of uncertainty, whom do you look up to?
God keeps His part. Calm rain, calm sunshine. God is still committed.
From one generation to another, and it's not like shifting shadows that He will change, but
Join Reverend Elizabeth Kimani and Henry Kyra every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. live on Kirk TV for Call Unto Me.
2021, He's still the same God and He has not changed.
Welcome back. You're still watching Kirk in the morning. Remember, we just had a discussion on men's mental wellness with the help of Faith Nashipayo, who is a counseling psychologist. We also looked at the traffic update earlier on, as well as what's in the newspaper. And right now, let us look at what exactly is in the headlines as far as the news is concerned, or just what you'll be expecting today throughout the week. We start with the president, who is in Egypt, Cairo, for the United Nations Conference of Parties on Climate Change. This is the 27th conference of the parties, dubbed COP27, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. According to State House spokesperson, that is Hussein Mohammed, President Ruto will make a case for Kenya and Africa on the effects of climate change. President Ruto's speech will also touch on the adverse effects of drought and food insecurity in Africa. As the chairperson of the Committee of African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change, Ruto will deliver Africa's statement on climate change at the convention. The head of state is also expected to rally countries towards the implementation and honoring of commitments that have been made in the past on how to deal with greenhouse gases that cause global warming. Well, on COP27, please stay tuned in to Kirk TV, because we will be having analysis of the conference on what exactly the different heads of state, that is a president, among prime ministers as well, on what exactly they'll be talking or their promises to the world as far as climate change is concerned. As mentioned, the church, that is at the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, will also be participating, but right here in Kenya, Kenya through Kirk TV, where the moderator will just be giving his statement as far as the COP27 or the issue of climate change is concerned. So stay into or just stay tuned to Kirk TV for more as far as the COP27, which is happening in Cairo, Egypt, is concerned, as well as the analysis. Let's move on. And a task force set up to review the salaries of officers in the discipline services will be unveiled in the next 2 weeks. Speaking during a Thanksgiving service for the Uniform Discipline Service and their families at the Holy Family Basilica in Nairobi, the Deputy President said the team will be made public by President William Ruto and will look into ways to improve employment terms and working conditions for the officers in the various disciplines.
Yesterday I was going somewhere and I met an officer as I was passing, and he looked a little bit not himself. I think he had taken something, but surely it was not tea or water. And he asked me, wewe Rigiji, si mlisema ndani ya siku 100 mtaleta kamati ya kuangalia mishahara yetu? I want to tell you, please, msituharakishe. Don't count the 100 days from the day we were elected, the 9th of August. Start counting from 13th of September when President William Ruto was sworn in. Those days have not expired. They'll expire on the 24th of December. In the next 2 weeks, President William Ruto will unveil a task force to review your terms of service.
And elsewhere, the ODM leader Raila Odinga has lashed out at President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza government for their attempts to raise taxes for Kenyans. Odinga said that Kenyans are tired and already grappling with high taxes, adding that raising the taxes was not the solution. He was speaking in Biubi village, Ganze constituency in Kilifi County, where he had attended the burial of Kilifi youthful politician Jacob Fikirini's father.
Sawasawa kulingana na mipango. Asanteni. Mama yangu Mishimboko, mama Mbe.
Walisema atakuwa na ile pesa ya kina mama bilioni 100. Hayote sasa wanajaribu kusahau. Lakini sisi tumesema wao ndio wako kwa serikali sasa. Wana jukumu ya kuangalia kwamba wananchi wasihangaike. Sasa wanasema mpaka sasa waongeze ushuru kwa wananchi. Ati ushuru iko mbaya, mpaka ushuru iongezwe. Tumesema ati ushuru tayari wa Kenya wanalipa ushuru kubwa zaidi. Na punda imechoka kwa kubeba mzigo. Tumesema kitu muhimu zaidi ni kumaliza ufisadi, sio kuongeza ushuru zaidi. Hiyo ndio sisi tunawaambia hawa watu. Na kwamba hatutaki kukubali ya kwamba wananchi waongezewe ushuru tena. Bei ya unga iko juu, bei ya mafuta iko juu, gharama ya maisha iko juu, hata mambo ya kusafiri iko.
Now elsewhere, the Director of Public Prosecution, Nudin Haji, has launched a publication geared towards enhancing good practices in preventing and countering violent extremism in the country. Haji said the publication will also serve as a roadmap in the fight against terrorism in the country and a point of reference in matters criminal justice agencies in the region. The ODPP and Haki Africa Human Rights Organization monitored and evaluated the activities of the project, whose impact include accessibility of justice and reduction of vulnerability of individuals at risk of the crime. The publication, titled Good Practices for Enhancing Access to Criminal Access to Justice in Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, is also set to provide remedy on exploitation of technology and digital spaces by organized criminal syndicates and terrorist organizations.
We have seen a decrease in issues and matters of countering, in issues and matters of extremism and even terrorism itself. I think moving forward, what we hope to see under this new dispensation and the next 5 years is that we will be able to cement a working relationship that works towards ensuring that there is good faith and collegiality between the different institutions that are charged with ensuring that the rule of law and access to justice is dispensed to each and every Kenyan. And that we will be people of integrity, and that we will be honest and true to the Constitution and the law.
Well, that is it as far as the Kirk in the Morning show is concerned. That's all we had prepared for you on this Monday morning. If you're just joining us, just to let you know that we were also coming to you live on Facebook as well as YouTube. That is Kirk TV Kenya. And just a reminder about the COP27 conference on climate change that is happening in Cairo, Egypt. Remember, we will be sharing with you an analysis of what exactly the heads of state will be talking about. Remember, President William Ruto is currently in Egypt, and we definitely look forward to his remarks as well as submissions in the COP27. Remember, he will be speaking not just for Kenya but for Africa as well. But my question, and what I'll just like to hear from you or your views, is what do you think the church can do in order to help in tackling the climate change menace? What role can the church play in tackling the climate change menace, not just in the country but worldwide as well? You can share in your comments as well as opinions via our SMS number, that is 0111 220044. And do you think the government, or do you think your government has played a role in just ensuring that they deal with climate change? That is as far as the COP27 conference that is happening in Cairo, Egypt is concerned. Remember, all the leaders from 198 countries will just be held accountable over what exactly they said during the COP26 conference. So we really love to hear from you as far as that is concerned. So that's all we had for you on Kirk in the Morning this Monday. See you again next Monday as we look at further issues to do with health. My name is Aida Munzatsi. Thanks to my producer Faith Kaulu, among everyone who made this broadcast a success. I'm wishing you a lovely Monday and a blessed week.